I'm looking at the Kumbhakarna ban potentially for game number 2.
Really? Over
Yeah.
the Raijin? You think, how do you feel Cloud did?
I think the Raijin synergizes so well with the Kumbhakarna ultimate and the Tremor specifically, so
That's true.
that's something that I would be trying to take away from, from Most Wanted.
We'll see if that's exactly what Kingdom are going to be doing here. We're into game 2 of the North American SCL. It's the first set, Most Wanted upstaging Kingdom Esports in game 1, so we'll see if any adjustments will be made. Most Wanted still first pick, so they're going to go with the same pick and ban strategy I would imagine at the beginning, taking away that Ao Kuang.
It's not something that they ran quite yet in this split. Maybe it's something that they're holding on to, not wanting to show their cards, show how successful they are with Ao Kuang, potentially.
And Guan Yu taken away as well. So, I mean, Guan Yu, you always got to ban Guan.
It's pretty standard bans at
so
this
good.
point. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Kumbhakarna going to be banned by Most Wanted and not Kingdom.
So, this tells me that Most Wanted have, you know, multiple pick and ban strategies, and they're like, all right, instead of letting Kingdom adjust to the style that we went there, let's just go forward with a whole new set of picks and bans. And it's going to be Athena, so Kingdom have made a little bit of adjustment as well, but the Raijin's still up.
It's a bit of a mind game playing for Most Wanted, banning the Kumbhakarna. It was a throwaway ban. Obviously, Wolves is amazing with a Kumbhakarna, so running that back would favor Most Wanted. However, they want to get into the mindset of Kingdom because more than likely Kingdom was going to look for the counter to Kumbhakarna, so now they don't have to worry about it.
And it's going to be Robin locked in for Kingdom, so Sealcar going to pick that one up again, and now he doesn't have to deal with the pesky brute.
It might be something else. There's a lot of Guardians as well. It could be something that Wolves is leaning towards, potentially, as Susano is going to get locked in for Kingdom.
And so Kingdom, we didn't talk about that, but they left it open. Most Wanted still wanting their priority picks to go to Clow, though. They've kind of, that seems to be what they've been doing. Everyone else will kind of pick and ban around that here. Most Wanted, though, looking to respond. They could go into their support. However, last time they kind of delayed it. I think it was a Hou Yi for Transonics in this last spot.
And the way he ran the Hou Yi was also very important for the team. The Tremors, the ultimate from Kumbhakarna, the Hou Yi ultimate, like everything just synergized so well for Most Wanted.
And I mean, the Kumbhakarna's not there anymore, so maybe they're looking for a different character. Thor is left open though, so that's going to be picked up and run by XCynosurex, and it's going to be the Hou Yi again. So a lot of AoE teamfight potential, honestly, with these core 3.
It's still really good early game aggression from Most Wanted between their mid jungle. In the last game, they had 3 early potions compared to Kingdom that only had 1, and they were very successful in terms of getting both Harpies. They stole the speed buff and the blue buff on the first rotation away from Kingdom, and they kind of rolled away with it ever since then.
And now, last pick coming in for Kingdom. What would you suspect in this spot? Just another support and then ban it away?
I would say I would have picked a support in that situation just to ban, but looks like Kingdom not wanting Zeus to be banned away from them. They're going to lock it in themselves, allowing Susano to synergize if they ever pull into a Zeus shield, into Chain Lightning. It's going to do a lot of damage.
I love this too. Odin banned away for Most Wanted. They've shown that they're willing to run it into support, so I imagine Wolves is willing to run it as well, so there's a couple options. Obviously, you could synergize with the Zeus Odin, but I mean, Most Wanted already have escapes to get out of it, so not really worth it. And Jablanca going to be taken up by Most Wanted.
It's a good point that you mentioned, the fact that Most Wanted has a lot of escapes away from that Odin cage. Like you mentioned, Odin Zeus, it's the staple ever since SMITE history. Like, you always see Odin Zeus together, but Kingdom Esports just respecting the fact that Most Wanted is able to get away from it.
And final ban coming in for Kingdom here in the second phase. Could once again look for support. And it's actually going to be Khepri. And I guess that's just because Most Wanted have, you know, these dive characters with Thor and Raijin, you know, aggressive Thunder Crash.
It's interesting to see the Khepri ban because Kingdom has the next pick. So
yeah, like the Khepri Zeus is perfect.
They have something sneaky, I would assume, that maybe an aggressive Bacchus trying to do a lot of damage, and just like that, it's going to be a Bacchus.
Like, in that situation, though, I mean, you already have the Susano Zeus, right, for the early game dominance. Robin's going to more than likely win any matchup outside of Kumbhakarna, which is banned away. Just go the Khepri to keep the Zeus alive.
It's a good strategy unless you want to get the early game rolling on the side of Kingdom. If you can find anybody out of position, Bacchus will be able to burst that target down better than a Khepri can. Even though Khepri's CC is a little bit stronger than Bacchus, I would say.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to see a lot of really strong positioning coming out from Catalyyyst, though. I mean, he is up against a Thor Raijin, so could kind of just get jumped on Kumbhakarna. And Tier picked up, so a whole lot of CC.
A lot of setup available to the Raijin to allow him to do some damage. Tier is going to displace some members as well. Kumbhakarna, one of the most obnoxious supports to have to deal with. And
He is so annoying.
And to respond, Kingdom going to take the Anhur.
Hey, man, so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to root you, right?
Okay.
Okay, then the root ends. Right. Well, now I'm gonna mez you. Oh,
I'm going to sleep.
The mez ends. Okay, now I'm gonna knock you up. Oh, you land.
Take
All
a
right,
ride?
I'm gonna root you again.
Sounds like a fun time to me.
I don't know about that. Sounds like I'd get pissed off. But honestly, these two team comps seem very team fight oriented and kind of a lot of aggression. I think we're gonna see some fireworks.
There's already no potions online quite yet for either team, just waiting for the warning situation like you mentioned before. Most Wanted very aggressively in their last set with that invade, and Kingdom Esports is going to respect it.
You could see wards at not only the red and speed, but also one near that kind of mid-harpy rotation. And kind of the same style coming out from Most Wanted here. So, I mean, Kingdom have clearly come prepared for this squad.
Trying to spot the shenanigans.
Spot the shenanigans.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
All right, okay. We got a meditation on Bacchus, standard. We got Blink Kumbha. I'd say that's kind of shenanigan-y. That's the best we're going to have.
Yeah, in this situation. Double potions from both teams, so it's not going to be a 3-to-1 disparity like the last game. So Kingdom Esports should be able to kind of contest Most Wanted early on.
And we'll see if they can. They also have the bounce, right? Coming from Zeus. I mean, the Raijin Thor is a really strong 2v2, but when it comes to mid-harpy fights, I mean, if you can find that chain lightning onto a minion, like 2 or 3 stack someone, that's a whole lot of poke.
And that's something Kingdom Esports is going to have to respect with their positioning, as well as against Clow, because Clow's going to do a lot of damage in response. If you're next to those mid-harpies, you're going to take a lot of damage from his chains.
That's true. There's a lot of fighting. I want to see Clow, like, just dash in right now. Do it, Clow.
No, he's not going to do it. He's going to do the same thing exactly that happened the last game. The Thor just basically neglects his soul lane, allowing Wolves to get the solo farm, and allows Clow and Sinistcha to get these right side harpies. So now to respond, finally, Catalyyyst is going to try to get these left solo.
This could be a little bit risky, though. I mean, Thor probably going to have his hammer. However, there is that ward there, so he's going to see it coming. We're going to see if he can secure those mid-harpies, and he only gets 1, and the double tap hits, and xCynosurex is able to keep aggro so the health doesn't start to regen and reset. So 1 for 1, so a little bit better for Kingdom that time.
Compared to the last game, for sure, as we're going to have a rotation from Toasty, not trying to play too aggressive, but he is going to pull the Thor. No follow-up damage from Catalyyyst.
And you can see taken away, too. So level 3 on both sides here, but it seems like xCynosurex is going to have kind of a little bit of an advantage with those extra creeps. But it doesn't look like Most Wanted want to go to that back harpy, so instead electing to contest the middle wave and just continuously put out that pressure. Oh, Cloud's going in too. Going to find the Thunder Crash on a Catalyyyst. Double tap, it connects! But just shy on the damage. Clow and xCynosurex not enough to find first blood.
Toasty could have pulled Clow into the tower after the dash happened, forcing the early purification out of Clow potentially.
But I guess didn't think about it in time. And both are going to go to their own back harpies, and Wolves is dominating TsmaII once again.
Against a Tier, you have to be very careful about your positioning. Tier will be able to out-clear you early on, as a Ravana specifically. You're trying to look for poke, but the Tier is just going to be able to clear and potentially do this, catch you and the wave, so you have to respect that positioning.
Yeah, and it just seems like TsmaII not positioning himself. Was it the Sealcar last game?
It was, so it looks like TsmaII has gone into the soul lane. Ulti
and I think
from
it was
Clow.
jungling as well. Blink coming out, so Catalyyyst should be fine here. He kind of walks into the damage instead of backing out of range.
It was intended for Toasty in that situation. Koiz eating a little bit of poke from Despair, but the ultimate was targeted for the
jungler.
Yes.
Yeah, but he was able to kind of jet stream away quickly enough, so he wasn't in range of it. So I like the attention from Cloud to kind of switch styles as well, or switch targets there, get a little bit of extra poke off. And Transonics and Koiz once again dominating this 2v2. Level 5 for Koiz, so he's found a little bit of extra experience over his Hunter somehow.
He also has the Blink, so he's waiting to potentially... He could even find the Bacchus in this situation with the Hui follow-up. If the Bacchus uses his jump to clear, then he's definitely going to be the focus target.
There is meditation, though, that you have to worry about the med bait, and Bacchus is rotating back in, but... the Anhur going to walk away as well. Wolves and TsmaII, they're going to find a gank onto TsmaII, actually, and he's actually pushed away His ultimate is still online, and he's going to Mystic Rush away. There comes Wolves over the top, though. Double tap only hits on the second half, and Wolves is going to dive under tower, but he doesn't have the mana or the stance switch to switch that up. So that was a little bit of miscommunication.
Fearlessing away from the Berserker Barrage is never something you really want to do, especially as a Thor if you're maxing out. That Berserker Barrage, that's a huge portion of your DPS. That's kind of unfortunate. However, it's going to force the early teleport more than likely out of TsmaII. So not all lost.
Yeah, that was a little bit surprising, though. Right Harpy's going to be spawning up here. xCynosurex and Koiz is going to be combining for them with Clow around. However, Most Wanted aren't going to be able to find the same invades that they did last game. I think Kingdom Esports have a little bit better of that early game. Although they still are getting behind in farm by about 500. No first blood just yet to compensate.
You definitely don't want to be using your ultimate, using the invade if your ultimate is down as a Thor. So just going to respect the fact that that's down. Going to take their own speed buff, resetting, getting those right side mid Harpies. And it's going to be very difficult for Kingdom to kind of contest the left side as we have Susano backing after speed.
Most Wanted, once again, just going to get all the farm. And I mean, what do you do if you're Kingdom? I mean, they keep conceding stuff. Do they really want to be the aggressors, though, into kind of this Kumbha, Thor, Raijin combo? Do they really want to force anything, or is it more just kind of farm out for late once again, or good team fights?
I would say, similar to the last game, the struggle for Kingdom was their warding situation. They didn't have enough wards, so now they have to fix that and maybe find somebody out of position.
And TsmaII, ooh, just on the edge of that tower. I mean, if that tower shot hits, it gets pretty deadly for him. Transonics, you can see heads back to lane. Susano, I think he was, I mean, that was his Typhoon. I think he was trying to gank Transonics, but he got the back off just in time.
He tried to catch him during the lazy back, not going to find it. Good disengage coming from Transonics. Just going back to the lane with boots.
Did you just tell me good disengage?
Yeah, good disengage.
Did you seriously just say good disengage?
He just
on the guy who lazy backed and like
it was calculated.
Got off in time.
The hunters and soul laners will always bait each other to like, hey, try to stop me from backing.
I feel like that's a waste sometimes. I feel like you know you're going to get stopped, and it's like bad if you take that free poke. Am I wrong in thinking that?
It depends if you have abilities up. So sometimes you want to be able to trade, as we're going to have a trade into the mid lane, not forcing the stun onto Sinister. But realistically, in solo or the hunter position, when you're trying to force the enemy to stop you from backing, you're trying to slowly but surely overextend them.
Ooh. Speaking of overextending, Bacchus pretty far pushed up. You can see Koiz has that blink online. But not going to be blinking in here. I think he was also trying to soak XP in the meantime. I guess if you continuously run into the wall, you get closer.
He's just trying to find the right angle.
Got to get that right angle. Transonics and Despair throwing out some autos. Despair actually, I mean, he played overall pretty well. I think that was a product of kind of team comp that hurt him in that last game. But we did see him time his Jablanque escapes really well.
Koiz on the backside, blinking in, forcing the purification.
The
beautiful patience, though.
Yeah, oh, actually, Koiz did get knocked up, but he still finds the ultimate. Oh, and the Mez a little bit too early there. Transonics not in range to follow up, and the rotation's coming from Toasty. Gonna jet stream closer. Does have Typhoon available to him, and here comes Zeus on top. Koiz gonna have Sleepy Time popped, so this could go to anyone, and it's gonna be Despair. So an early kill for the Anhur.
And that's gonna allow him to give him a slight power spike over Transonics. So once the Ninja Tabby is finished, once the next item, more than likely going to be Soul Eater for the Anhur, he should be able to win these 1v1s.
And I think that's why they gave it to him, too. I mean, Catalyyyst could have taken that, but just making sure that your Hunter can have that, you know, available 1v1. And if it goes to Zeus, I mean, Zeus is still not going to be able to find a 1v1, right? He's just going to be team fighting the whole time.
It benefits putting your Hunter with the first blood because that's the Gold Fury side of things. If you can force the enemy Hunter to back, then you have control of that side.
I mean, the biggest problem, though, is that the Anhur is not really ahead. He's actually behind in gold, getting it knocked up as well. Transonics, though, had already used the Ricochet to clear the wave, so not going to find the kill, but I mean, still just pushing Despair under the tower.
There's no purification or ultimate online for Anhur, so he has to respect the fact that Transonics could still 1v1 him.
And you could see the Bacchus started to rotate, but he turns his attention to the mid-Harpies, and he's alone. He's going to find a two-man knockup. Intoxicate is available, but his Belch gets mezzed out. Now the rotation comes for the Susano, going to find xCynosurex, just finding poke. And SCL is still sitting there, but I mean, Catalyyyst is on the mid, so he's not wanting to fight. Not
getting punished after the Bacchus flop. Cloud could have done a lot of damage if he wanted to commit with his ultimate. Just going to rather play it safe after those left side mid-Harpies.
Probably just didn't know where the Zeus was at first. I mean, he went to the mid lane afterwards, but you always got to be a little bit wary, right, of where the other mid laner is, especially if it's a Zeus. I mean, if a Zeus could free cast in your backline, whoo.
You're also a level 10 Raijin in this situation, so you do a lot of damage. Looking at the player damage, looks like Tyr being very obnoxious against TsmaII, and TsmaII is returning the favor.
I mean, they're just battling back and forth, and TsmaII here is behind by about 500 gold. So, I mean, this matchup was pretty even a few minutes ago. Oh, Wolves, he's trying to find it. Nice overhead kick, though. Still, the mana, is it going to be enough? It is. Soloed. I mean, what do you say about that one?
I mean, if I was TsmaII, I would just constantly be running away into the tier 2 tower. There's no reason to try to get that experience, recognizing he didn't respect the damage coming from the Fearless combination. Even this early on, without many items, it's
right.
Still,
Fearless
he just hit
and
level
Power Cleave
12.
should be maxed.
He just hit level 12, so...
Or close. Yeah, I mean, still, I mean, there was so much damage there, and TsmaII, he was already behind about 500 gold. Now he's behind by about 800 because of all those missed minions as well. I mean, it's going to get bad for him.
Especially with Wolves hitting level 12, picking up the meditation, also having Breastplate of Valor online compared to just a tier 2 for TsmaII.
Yeah, he died at the worst time because they were both tier 2, and that extra kill just kind of pushed Wolves to have the advantage. Transonics here. Going to be out of range of the pluck, and he's actually going to try and turn this. The Hoyi ult is down here, and he's actually fighting in between it. This is allowing the rest of the team to rotate in. Here comes xCynosurex, but a nice stun. Despair can't get the kill in time, though. And still, Transonics jumps, somehow manages to stay alive. Toasty to the backline, but this is kind of just players walking in one at a time. Toasty is going to be able to return, but the rotation from Zeus is going to stop any aggression.
He dashed away from Koiz's knock-up ultimate. The root is going to be
passive?
missed, unfortunately. The passive should be down, so that credited to Catalyyyst. So far, it's been a 2-for-2 trade. Beautiful comeback for Kingdom Esports. Now rotation from Wolves onto the Zeus.
Yeah, he's got meditation as well. Catalyyyst has no idea what's happening. A nice pullback, though. Wolves early purification, and once again, just timing everything perfectly. Catalyyyst nowhere to go. 3-for-2 overall. Oh, and Cloud actually finds the taunt onto Toasty. His abilities are down for at least a couple more seconds. Wolves not going to be able to close the gap, but a nice turnaround.
Was thinking about it potentially. The ultimate was available for Wolves. He could have found another Fearless onto the Susano. Meanwhile, on the solo lane side of things, TsmaII, this is exactly what he needs. He needs to just be left alone, allowed to free farm, get that extra 1 or 2 waves, get some tower poke, maybe sneaking that in, and potentially a blue buff.
And Wolves to compensate is also going to be picking up this wave here. He'll walk over. All the buffs on the right-hand side of the map are open, and no one's really in a position to pick anything up for Kingdom. You can see Wolves not looking to steal, though, just wants to protect his tower. Doesn't want to allow TsmaII to free farm anymore.
Looking at the wards around the Gold Fury, favoring Most Wanted. They have 2 on the bottom-hand side, aggressive sentry on the top, allowing them to see any sort of rotation coming from Kingdom, and they could position themselves for something around the corner. And
it seems like they're not going to be doing that. Everyone's just going to get their own buffs. Play it safe. Clow, 2-0-2 this game, so doing a little bit better on the Raijin. And damage-wise, everything's kind of standard. Just Wolves topping the charts once again.
And Most Wanted extending the lead with this red buff invade. Gonna potentially gonna get engaged on by McSaltyCakes. Triple intoxicate. Mess coming online. McSaltyCakes forced to meditate as Transonics is gonna disengage with Cloud.
Oh, the rotation from Catalyyyst is gonna get caught though. The ult is down in time and there's the knockup, but honestly Catalyyyst is gonna live thanks to that max range though. Cloud finds the Taiko drums and Toasty finds the 2-manned Typhoon as well. Transonics falls. Koiz has his passive up again, but quickly it's picked off in a 1-for-3 in favor of Kingdom off of that.
They were just 2 grouped up Most Wanted, and Kingdom took full advantage of the engage from McSaltyCakes, which is beautiful. The triple knockup, triple intoxicate, and allowed at the end of that Toasty just cleaning up, but Wolves coming in, trying to find something. Kingdom securing themselves the Gold Fury.
Yeah, but they're going to be surrounded right now. 4v1. xCynosurex is back into this fight, and he's going to find a stun onto TsmaII. Uses Berserker's Barrage. McSaltyCakes has no mana, though, and a nice impale by Wolves. I mean, that could have been a chase down. Despair chunking away here, but SaltyCakes now going to have the attention turned onto him. The Anhur should be fine, and Toasty actually doing a good amount to Wolves here, but he's knocked up and just runs away.
There's no way to chase that. However, McSaltyCakes does get chased down by Signature with the speed buff, so at least getting something despite not getting the Gold Fury. So with that player advantage, mid lane could be potentially aggressed on. A lot of cooldowns were used on the both side of things, however.
Everything looking pretty even, though. Only 200 to 300 gold separating the teams. The question is, can Most Wanted get anything off of this? Kingdom controlling those Gold Furies so well so far in this entire set, just weren't able to find the win in game 1 here. And it's going to be a tier 1 tower, probably picked up for Most Wanted. Despair is here, but xCynosurex just going to wall him off.
Electing to go for the dual lane instead of the mid lane was a wise choice. A lot of members from Kingdom were just a little bit out of position. Now, in response, if Kingdom wants to, they have Susano and Zeus in the mid lane free farming, so they could potentially push this tower to respond. However, nobody's going to stop the backs from Most Wanted, so going to play it safe.
And look at this too, right-hand side. Transonics with Wolves over on the left. He recognizes there's a ton of free farm, picks up the tower as well as some waves. He's going to be running into Toasty here. Jet streams past, doesn't realize Transonics is just coming around the corner, and he's going to jump away to safety.
Beautiful recognition from Transonics. Just the timing of getting that tower and being safe under his own tower is just impeccable.
I mean, look at how well just Transonics, he's so intelligent about farming. 0, 2, and 3 compared to 2, 1, and 3 on Despair. And also Despair has that Gold Fury, and he's only down by about 200. He should be down by a whole lot more.
It's just utilizing the farm that's available to you to its maximum efficiency. More than likely, it seems that Transonics probably got some of his back harpies, whereas Despair didn't really quite get it. It was mostly taken by the mid jungle.
And we're also seeing, I mean, the rotations from Transonics as well. He's in the mid lane soaking up farm. Even there, he soaked up farm on the right-hand side. There's also the towers, to be fair, so that was probably contributing to a couple hundred of that. Wolves going to be trying to steal away the speed buff. Going to run into 3. And I think it is stolen away by XCynosurex.
It's still on the ground waiting to be picked up.
Oh, no. It was secured.
Nobody's picking up, however. Meanwhile, on the dual lane side of things, there's going to be a split push from Transonics trying to get this tier 2 tower this early on. I
mean, you see the rotation come in from Toasty, going to use the jet stream, but I mean, there's just so much pressure on the right-hand side, and Zeus is in the mid. So this is a numbers advantage as Clowwwwww into the front, as Koiz to the back line, going to mez out 3, just trying to distract Despair, trying to jump away, but he can't. Wolves has already taken him out. The root coming in, but I mean, this is a tier 2 tower. 4 members grouped up for Most Wanted. The meditation has popped, and I think they're going to try and siege this as well.
Catalyyyst flanking onto Transonics.
Trouble.
The chain lightning, a lot of damage. Transonics going to be able to jump over the wall. Going to get slowed. Not enough stacks.
You're not going to outrun.
Yeah, there's no way.
You're not going to outrun the
speed buff Susano. There's just no way.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to do everything he can. I mean, he is around a rock, so he's trying to get like these multi-man bounces here. There's the Typhoon to secure it, though. The knock up, one more hit. However, the tier 2 on the right falls.
Bought enough time for the tier 2 on the solo lane just to be taken from Most Wanted, extending their lead ever so slightly. Despite the Gold Fury going to Kingdom, they're still winning these little skirmishes, engages, and taking another objective in response. You know, they found the tier 1 on left, the tier 1 on right, and now they got their tier 2s.
I mean, it was what, like 200-300 gold separating the teams just a couple minutes ago. Now it's 3K. I mean, Kingdom, I mean, they're just getting run in circles almost. Most Wanted just playing so intelligent, just splitting all of Kingdom up, making them, you know, rotate over to the right-hand side of the map when they're split pushing on the left. And, I mean, the tower, tier 2 tower on left is almost down as well. So that's another 1,500 gold waiting for them.
And more, exactly, considering how low this tower is on the dual lane side, that's going to extend their lead even further. They're going to look and wait for this rotation from the Gold Fury to respawn, and they're going to position themselves for more kind of positional advantage with their ward. Because of the fact that they have this goal lead, because they're going to have more wards, they're going to have the positional advantage.
And pretty close here to the Gold Fury spawning in, like you said, about a minute and a half until that objective is going to be contested again. 7-7 in kills. We're 16 minutes in, but I mean, Most Wanted just overall seem like the better team, and that's to be expected. Heading into this matchup, I mean, they were undefeated. Kingdom Esports haven't won a game. They've had some bright spots, but this is probably one of the best sets I've seen from Kingdom overall.
And that's something that you need to do in this split. It's coming up to that halfway point. You're down 0-7 currently. You need to pick things up. And they've been playing better than their first 2 weeks. So still progress is being made. And that's what you want to see out of a team, is progress throughout a split.
I still expect them to be near the bottom. But, I mean, if they could start getting some wins, chaining some stuff together, I mean, it will become more competitive. And then maybe next split, they'll find something.
TsmaII is going to get engaged on. Thor ultimate landing. TsmaII should fall down.
You're done.
Lawbringer's going to be good. And that's it.
You're done. Meditation
is up, however, and Kingdom not taking advantage of this quite yet.
I mean, they are now, but it was a little bit late. You can see Despair. He's going to be rotating around. Transonics has to know something's going on. Most Wanted can either look to contest this or do the Fire Giant, and it seems like they're going to contest, but they might be a little bit slow to the party. Kingdom Esports, though, their DPS isn't high enough.
They found the Gold Fury, but there's going to be engaged, forcing Despair away. Toasty's going to try to gesture him away, avoiding the Fearless Sprint, being propped by Most Wanted, trying to find anybody out of position.
And Transonics, look at him just on the front line. The taunt's going to be good. Despair, it's actually separated from the rest of the team. XCynosurex a little bit off on that wall, however, he still chases deep, but he's by himself. Sanctuary should keep him alive for a couple more seconds. The knockup is too soon. The CC immunity still available. And now McSaltyCakes is in trouble as Koiz has rotated in. He's got the mez, and there's the purification from Catalyyyst, but Clow still around the corner. He's going to do everything to stay alive here, but
Nice.
Clow can't close the gap.
Meditation from McSaltyCakes, making sure to make it a little bit less tempting for Clow to dash in aggressively. Now, duo lane side of things, it's going to be aggressed on. This tower is going to fall 18-minute mark, extending their goal lead to about 6,000.
Okay, Wolves. Okay, Wolves.
A little too aggressive.
He's really feeling himself. Transonics does take out that tier 2. But the squad needs to be worried about the rotation coming out from Kingdom Esports. They got the Gold Fury once again, but immediately you could see, I mean, there was a little bit of a drop down, but immediately pushed back up by Most Wanted off of that tower and team fight.
And with this one-player advantage, Kingdom is going to group up in the mid lane. Nobody from Most Wanted in position to defend.
Yeah, and yeah, this is going to go uncontested. I mean, Most Wanted just can't fight it in that spot. Kingdom Esports, I thought they were going to look for the fire jet. I was like, what are you guys doing?
No, they're taking the small things. They're waiting for the right timing. They need to use this one-player advantage in their favor, however. They're not really playing too aggressively. The Anhur was coming back from base, going to push out those boars, and XCynosurex just kind of trying to find any poke he can.
And it's Wolves as well, right? If there's one person dead on Most Wanted that you say, okay, we now need to fight, it's Wolves, because he has just been a monster in both these games so far. You can see 9,200 topping the damage charts for a second game in the row, and he's just he gets this massive lead, and then he just kind of sits on your backline. You could see his build, no massive magical protection item. He's got the Mantle of Discord, which provides him some all protections, but I mean, the Zeus should still be able to shred him.
The fact that he has meditation as well as his power cleaves on the defensive side is going to keep him topped off for a very long period of time. Unfortunately, as long as he doesn't dive in 1v4 like he did the last time, he'll be all right. And
that, I mean, yeah, 30% CDR. It's gonna be hard to kill that tier. Not the easiest thing, and you can see he's already back in action. So Kingdom Esports waste their window of opportunity here. 4K separate the teams still. Fire Giant now the next objective looked at. We're 20 minutes into this one.
Wow, playing aggressive, just gonna force an overhead kick.
Just trying to get anything he can, recognizing that he's by himself.
The warning definitely favoring Kingdom around the Fire Giant side, not wards from Most Wanted.
Most Wanted. Or Matt Koiz just going to mez out there in the middle, and you can see the warding coming down. And Matt Koiz places a normal ward on a sentry,
He's
so
baiting.
Not in his favor.
He wants somebody to come counter it so he can find the blinking gauge.
Does he know it's happening? I mean, there he goes, but Bacchus swinging away. He gets it. Wolves was there trying to capitalize, but not in time, and there goes the sentry.
It also baits the fact that since the ward was countered by Kingdom, now it telegraphs the fact that, like, hey, we have a sentry ward here, so nice counter by Most Wanted.
And Matt Koiz did have both wards. You can clearly tell that was his plan. Speed buff trying to be stolen away. Wolves to the back line looking for Catalyyyst, and I mean, TsmaII trying to zone, but he's not going to be easy here, and Catalyyyst just getting run down. Pops both his relics. Sanctuary is now inactive. He does get his ult off, but Wolves pushes him against the wall. First kill of this fight going the way of Most Wanted. Despair's rotated in, though, finds a great impale. XCynosurex gets the meditation, trying to get the hammer off, and he is, but Despair finishes him before he can teleport to, and now Despair pushed away as well from the rotation from Wolves by himself, swinging away at Clow. I mean, Despair's doing so much in this fight.
TsmaII has jumped on top of Clow. Should be a kill as well. Transonics trying to find on a 1v1 against Toasty, but beautiful play from Wolves, finding another 1-for-1. So it's been a 2-for-2 trade so far over this long team fight.
And the team is chasing Matt Koiz right now, but I mean, he's got Sleepy Time activated, so he should be fine. Transonics jumps on himself, the ricochet. It doesn't find its mark onto Toasty, who's just going to jump away. Sanctuary is good. The knock-up and meditation still keeping Transonics alive for now. Wolves has the double Fearless. There's the knock-up as well. Jetstream is activated. Toasty actually walking into the middle of that, but he knows Wolves doesn't have the cooldowns.
TsmaII might be in trouble. 1v2 against a Soul Laner and a Guardian. He should have enough sustain to buy enough time to disengage. We're going to see.
And his ultimate is activated, so he'll be fine. No one can chase him over the wall there. And overall, what was that, a 1-for-1? 1-for-2?
It was a 2-for-2 at the end there. We saw XCynosurex falling early on, and as well as Catalyyyst, and then the Hunter and the mid from
a little bit of
Wanted.
I'd say that was kind of an overall sloppy fight, right? Where just most Wanted diving incredibly deep. Even Transonics there. I mean, he got out in the end, but I mean, he was by himself in like 3 people.
Clow was playing very aggressively without waiting for the setup. Without XCynosurex setting him up for some easy damage, it kind of hurts Most Wanted in the team fight, because now there's no long-range setup without the exception of Matt Koiz's Blink ultimate.
And you can see Gold Fury has respawned, though, and Most Wanted are looking at that. And it doesn't seem like Kingdom Esports knows this is going on. Wolves is in the right-hand side, but Salty has realized it. He stole it away last time here. He's going to try once again. There's the knock-up and intoxicate. Gold Fury getting low and actually reset. And I mean, that's all Kingdom really were looking to do. xCynosurex, I don't think he's, oh no, he is. He's going deep.
He wants to connect onto the Anhur, just barely off the mark. Wolves on the backhand side, gonna get knocked back.
Man, Despair with these impales, just so on point here. Koiz finds a knock-up onto the Bacchus, but I mean, there's so much investment into this very tanky character. Despair is caught by Transonics on the back line there. Sprint's gonna be activated as Despair tries to juke out, and there's so much of Most Wanted just trying to dive.
And Cloud's gonna use his ultimate on the back line as well, getting zoned out by Toasty. A lot of damage is being done onto Cloud. However, there's gonna be a lot of return damage, and now it's Toasty's in trouble. He's forced to Sanctuary away. Transonics falling in the back line. Toasty finally falling as well. So far, it's been a 1-for-2 in the favor of Most Wanted.
And Wolves just trying to stay alive. Bait for the rest of his team to rotate in. There's Mantle of Discord, gonna find this done. And here comes xCynosurex and Cloud as well. Aggressive dash. Sanctuary gonna keep Catalyyyst alive, but he runs straight into Wolves' fearless knock-up here. McSaltyCakes jumps forward, does find the knock-up here. Now TsmaII just going to be chipping away as much as he can. But I mean, there's a bunch of low members, but he really just doesn't have the damage to finish anyone off.
As long as they go on anyone but Wolves, then it could actually favor it could favor Kingdom.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. There's a knock-up once again. Cloud forced to Sanctuary, and at the very least, Kingdom Esports hold onto their remaining 2 members. But overall, that fight still in favor of Most Wanted, also securing the Gold Fury, or excuse me, resetting the Gold Fury.
The Gold Fury was what forced out the early Intoxicate out of McSaltyCakes. Had that happened later on in the team fight, maybe that team fight would have favored Kingdom.
I mean, that's also good poke on the players at the start of the fight too, right? I guess maybe saving it for the later end, just for securing, or like in the middle of the fight, just the Intoxicate effect, because it was really just damage.
The 4 or 5-man Intoxicate, while there's a lot of action going on, makes it very difficult to kind of disengage. Imagine the Cloud was intoxicated during the 1v1 against Toasty.
Yeah.
It would be a lot more difficult to land some of those
And Toasty doing exactly what he needs to, kind of as this backline assassin, 3-1 and 5, going straight for Cloud, but couldn't get the damage off in time before the rest of Most Wanted rotated in. But we're 25 minutes into this match, 14-11. Read the kills, Most Wanted in the lead. Not only in that category, but also in gold, about 3,000 in the favor.
Most Wanted going to start with the Gold Fury so far. It's just trying to force somebody from Kingdom out of position, but it looks like it's just going to be conceded, and that's going to extend their advantage even further.
I feel like Despair knew about it. You could see him kind of peek around the corner, but I was a little bit worried. He's just going to secure his red buff. And there, once again, I mean, the map pressure is so much in favor of Most Wanted. They've taken out every single tower but the tier 2, so there's no safe points for Kingdom Esports. We saw that last engagement. I mean, they just got straight chased down to their Phoenix.
And look at the wards place. Koiz with 15 right now.
Ooh. Big Daddy wards.
16.
Place another one. 17. Do it.
We're just going to do a start a counter.
Oh, Toasty here. Going to be forced to purify, and really well read, because that epic uppercut was coming back. Koiz still diving deep, and Transonics finds the ricochet. One more hit, but the jet stream's going to be not good enough. Runs straight into the ultimate, and Wolves over the wall. Going to find 2 pushed up. Catalyyyst isolated by himself, but Despair's trying to peel for his mid laner here, and Catalyyyst actually manages to stack 3 onto Transonics and gets the detonate. Koiz actually pushed under the tower here, and Wolves not going to be able to stop Despair from chunking him away.
Nice Signature finding the kill onto Catalyyyst, making it a 2-for-2 exchange in this team fight. Wolves gonna disengage, and Signature also with speed buff. There's nowhere for him to get aggressed on by Kingdom. So nice kind of 2-for-2. Despite being behind, Kingdom is still putting themselves in a good spot. There's too much aggression from Cloud. He keeps going in, and there's just not enough follow-up when he goes in. Sinister's not really setting him up in these late-game teamfights. They need to wait for the right timing. I
mean, he also, like, he didn't die, to be fair, but he kind of baited his team into that fight, I would say.
They chased down, who was it? It was TsmaII early on. They found the kill onto him with the Hui ultimate, but he had to jump to commit to that ultimate. As a response, Transonics fell as well. Yeah. That's not something you really want to do as a hunter. Even if, like we mention all the time, you can either commit all in for this kill, or you can allow them to back and then extend the team fight with a 1-player advantage.
Would you say this is Most Wanted not really fully giving respect to Kingdom Esports because they haven't won a game and Most Wanted are undefeated? Because, I mean, thinking back to like their matches against Thor, we really didn't see playstyle like that. Maybe is it just the Raijin pick that Cloud is playing a little bit differently because he's not on the Isis that he's been most successful with?
It's definitely a different style, switching from Isis to a Raijin, but you have the Thor, so you have to play to your strengths. You do a lot of damage, obviously, as Raijin, but you would do more safe damage is the key word here with the Thor setup.
And the Thor has gone pretty aggressive build as well. You could see full penetration for him, although there's his last item going to be leaning more towards the defensive style. Mantle of Discord is possible, or Spirit's Robe if he's worried about any CC, maybe from the Bacchus. What would you go, Mantle of Discord or Spirit Robe in the spot?
I would probably go Spirit Robe if I'm going to dive the back line, making sure that people are going to try to peel me off of the carries, and then I'm going to absorb all the cooldowns, and then my team can follow up off of that.
And seems like Most Wanted still want to be the aggressors here. Koiz has his Blink available, Genji's Garb as well, and he's going to remain out of combat, find a two-man Mez, and Transonics once again going to find Catalyyyst isolated on the backline. He is going to jump for it, and there comes xCynosurex looking for him, but the Zeus still managing to stay alive, and they've left Clow alone to his own devices. He's getting run down by 2. Same with Despair, however, and Clow is going to fall eventually, so it's a 1-for-0 in favor of Kingdom early on into the fight. TsmaII still alive, but Despair pushed up against that Thor wall, and the Mantle of Discord locking him down. If that's not activated, maybe he escapes. Catalyyyst on the Zeus still here, but here comes Wolves over the top. He's going to find him slowed, but the stun from SaltyCakes is going to help with the peel.
And Catalyyyst is in a lot of trouble. The Bacchus is going to try to peel for as long as possible. Mez is going to connect. Catalyyyst is still alive somehow, just juking as long as possible. Finally falling. Toasty coming back after barely escaping. Koiz is in a lot of trouble. His passive is down. Going to try to find the route, not connect. For Wolves finding the double Fearless, allowing xCynosurex to set up a nice wall.
The wall absolutely beautiful from xCynosurex. I mean, if that's not on the mark, I mean, Wolves probably falls there. Getting a little bit greedy, though, for those mid-harpies. He recognizes the Bacchus chased him down. And overall, a 2-for-2 once again. I mean, this is kind of, it's not a direct favor of Kingdom, but I mean, I would say, I mean, these are fights that Most Wanted should be winning much cleaner.
xCynosurex dove the Zeus in the beginning of that team fight, despite Koiz finding the knock-up onto Despair early on. So diving the Zeus when you had a free kill onto the Anhur was a little bit misguided for Most Wanted. They could have found an easier clean pick early on.
And I feel like everyone is kind of playing the same way in the team fights, right? Transonics jumps aggressively onto the Zeus, but honestly, Catalyyyst stayed alive for so long, that distracted the carries long enough, and even the backliners for Clow to get picked up there pretty early on in the engagement. I think he was the first to fall.
He was the first victim, and that's because of the fact that how widespread Most Wanted was. Zeus was doing a good job kiting all the way closer and closer to his Phoenix, and that forced xCynosurex to kind of disengage further. It was taking him longer to regroup with the rest of his team after he realized he wasn't going to find that kill.
Cloud just going to ult.
Misclick.
Misclick. Was it a misclick?
It happens.
It happens. All right.
I fatty fingered my ults every now and then.
Jump in, though. Koiz actually taking a good amount of poke from Despair, and he's just going to jump away, but he is going to get rooted and run into straight xCynosurex. Typhoon actually finds 3 in the knockup, but Koiz has a knockup of his own, and Despair, this is bad.
Clow in the back is going to fall, so it's going to be, again, a 1-for-1. We're going to have more engage as well. It's trying to find the Fearless, going to find a double root. Transonics using the Suns onto Catalyyyst. xCynosurex going to be credited with a kill. Wolves trying to find more.
And Toasty here, he's getting run down. Same with xCynosurex, but it's only a Bacchus. Meditation has popped, so Kingdom Esports going to heal back up. But overall, I mean, this is a fight in favor of Most Wanted. 2-for-1 so far. xCynosurex diving deep. The attention is turned to the Bacchus, who finds the stun onto Koiz in response. And Wolves just being that really annoying player in the back line. The bully, SaltyCakes falls, and now Kingdom starting to win these fights.
McSaltyCakes tried to use his flop outside the tower just to distempt Most Wanted from getting this tower, but without that flop, it was an easy pick for Wolves.
And I like what Most Wanted did too, right? Normally, you know, fights are pretty spread out there, but recognizing that those relics were still down for Catalyyyst, I mean, there were, I think, 25 or 30 seconds remaining on the cooldown, aggressing straight into him to make the backline dive much easier this time.
And now with that, Gold Fury is going to be pretty much uncontested, unless Toasty's going to have something to say about it.
No.
He's going to disengage.
He's running away. He jet streamed away. And he's got max cooldown here, but he just doesn't seem to have the damage to 100-0 Cloud by himself in a lot of these situations we're seeing him going for. He's got to rely on Seal or TsmaII as well.
So with that Gold Fury, Gold favoring Most Wanted about 8.8k, 12,000 experience. So they need to force kind of a Fire Giant fight off of this lead.
And yeah, I mean, this is where you want to be. No one's full build just yet outside of the solo laners and the hunters, so you do have that advantage where when you fight, you're going to have the item lead. But if you wait any longer, I mean, it's 32 minutes in. You do have all the towers down, which is good. So you don't have to worry about, if you want to fight, you know, dealing with those before the Phoenixes. However, any longer, and Kingdom Esports are going to make this an equal game.
These last two team fights, Despair was the primary target, so he has to adapt to that. He has to allow the rest of his team to be ahead of him and play a typical hunter. Just wait for the team fight to happen. Don't position yourselves to get aggressive, especially against a Thor that could stun you from a distance. Matt Koiz, who can easily blink on top of you and just force out the purification early on.
I'm actually really liking the individual players from Kingdom right now, but it just seems like the team fights, and honestly, this is Most Wanted as well, where just like the team fights are so incredibly sloppy and split up, and no one seems to have a directive or are protecting their carries here, and Despair pushed into the wall once again. Bacchus gonna jump forward here. xCynosurex to the sky here. He's looking for Despair. Wolves just blocking off any escape route.
Gonna get aggressed on by Cloud, dashing in. xCynosurex finally landing, finding the kill yet again. Despair being the first victim, but yet again, Cloud being traded 1-for-1.
Yeah, Cloud just not in the right spot right now. xCynosurex really good purification, but he's still gonna get knocked up by the Typhoon, trying to get away. Toasty chasing him. Same with TsmaII into the back line, but xCynosurex takes out Catalyyyst, who is left alone once again. And McSaltyCakes here just surrounded by 3.
And it's going to be a Fearless onto the wall. McSaltyCakes going to be the 3rd victim to the Suns. There we go.
And TsmaII here, he's going to die as well. No ultimate available, surrounded by 4. He's just trying to buy time right now so the team can't do that Fire Giant as soon as possible. Maybe giving, you know, a chance for his team to spawn in and defend it.
But there's no way that Toasty will be able to defend this without his ultimate. But it looks like he is going to get spotted around the corner. Transonics wanting to find the mark and more damage.
I'm pretty sure they could see each other on the other side there. There's the stun and the double tap as well. Toasty has to jet stream away, but I mean, he's so low, there's absolutely no way he's getting into this Fire Giant pit now.
Not without his ultimate, especially Matt Koiz, who can easily use the mez into the root.
Oh no, he doesn't, I lied. And there, jet streams away. There's his mobility. Fire Giant being looked at, Matt Koiz tanking it up, and Wolves just trying to peel.
Thor's going to go in the air, but now using his ultimate a little bit too early, but it was a nice attempt. It's a very safe attempt as well to try it.
Yeah, just long range, just let me have a chance at stealing. However, Most Wanted come out on top of, oh, this could be bad. A nice stun as well, but Toasty is on the benefiting side of that one.
Not being able to catch up with the mobility from Susano every time his ability is. If it was any other god besides Susano, this xCynosurex would have been able to find the stun a lot sooner. It would have caught the jungler on the other side of the wall, but because it was Susano, the mobility was just too high.
Yeah, just not only the passive, but that just the general speed of him is very high. And now Most Wanted, once again, in a really good spot to close out this game. No towers remaining for them. They've got Fire Giant around all 5 of their players. They've got a significant gold lead right now. Everyone almost full build outside of Clow, and it's going to start come to sieging up these Phoenixes.
It's late game Raijin, late game Huyi, Most Wanted. As long as they play very carefully and they don't make these team fights so far widespread and they consistently pick one target to go on, they dump all their abilities onto that one target, then there's no way Kingdom Esports can handle that.
They do need to worry about the Zeus, though. I mean, the Zeus still looking at his Rod of Tahuti, but second in damage, just 300 damage behind Wolves, nearly exactly. And it's going to be the left Phoenix once again. So the Phoenix on the opposite side of the Fire Giant. Always want to pressure this one first if opportunity allows. And Wolves and xCynosurex just trying to put out some poke on Despair.
This has been the reoccurring theme. Most Wanted have been constantly going onto that Cloud, just barely not able to find the kill there.
Yeah, using his Thunder Crash, and Toasty's going to be in the mid lane, forced it back, but I mean, the fight's already raging, and Catalyyyst, there's his purification. I mean, that's a big win for Most Wanted now. And the team is looking at the Phoenix, but it's not dying fast enough. Transonics just tanking up McSaltyCakes in the back line as Wolves tanks up the Phoenix and forces 4, but it doesn't seem like Kingdom Esports are going to give that easily.
It's fine because they have a lot of reach and they force out some important relics. We're going to have the ultimate from Cloud trying to do a lot of damage. Nice double Fearless coming out of Wolves, forcing out the Sanctuary from Despair. Despair going to jump away before Transonics lands. The ultimate from Toasty used as well.
Toasty in the back line there, but he's not going to have the damage to secure anyone. TsmaII trying to get out, and he will. No one's actually fallen in this fight, but it is going to be the Phoenix, and that's kind of a slight win for Kingdom so far. No one managed to die. Most of the ultimates have been burned outside of TsmaII's, and so they're going to have just a full 5-on-5 defense here.
McSaltyCakes taking a lot of damage. Cloud aggressively dashing in, force the Sanctuary. He could fall.
Yeah, he's going to die. Despair just hitting all the basic attacks he needs. Toasty just providing a great distraction. Phoenix does fall, though, so win for Most Wanted overall. And they could find McSaltyCakes as well, but he's going to manage to stay alive. Still jumps forward, finds a 3-mana Toxicate, just trying to set up for the rest of his team, and Toasty is swinging away. xCynosurex, he's in the sky and dives Despair in the back line. Toasty managing to get out in the meantime, as most Wanted pick off the members of Kingdom Esports one at a time.
Catalyyyst is in a lot of trouble. He's going to be the next victim. Unless it detonates, that dismantle of Discord is going to be good. And with that, he's going to disengage. Zeus is fine under the Phoenix.
xCynosurex. Oh, I made it out. Just
Calculated.
barely. Just diving the Bacchus underneath.
Look at Toasty.
Toasty here going to fall as well. There's the Mez. One hit from Transonics secures it. So the last person remaining is Catalyyyst right now. He still has a Phoenix available, but the minion's trying to creep in to the room.
Doesn't have Rod Tahuti available to him. Went for the more defensive Breastplate of Valor, trying to get those cooldowns. This should be the second game in the favor of Most Wanted, unless Catalyyyst can
There's no way.
somehow find something.
His ult's down right now. There's so many minions, and Wolves is just going to provide a great distraction here. And Most Wanted going to remain undefeated, 8-0. Kingdom still have yet to find their first win in the North American SCL. 0-8, but starting to look a little bit better.
They just need to work on their team fights a little bit and making sure nobody's out of position. Those last 3 team fights we saw Despair just always out of position.
Yeah, and it was kind of a rough set from Most Wanted as well. Clow putting himself into some pretty dangerous waters and a lot of times here, but xCynosurex was sure to set up a lot of these kills too.
The strategy for Most Wanted was the early game pressure for xCynosurex, for Clow. They went triple potions in the start with the Naja game specifically, and then the second game, it was just a 2-for-2, but regardless, their early game was just stronger.
Yeah, and I mean, just playing so well around Koiz as well. They got the first blood there, and it just, xCynosurex was just on the mark most of the time. Just putting out so much pressure in the jungle, even on the Thor, right? He just dove Catalyyyst in this Thor game non-stop, and it was so hard for Catalyyyst to stay alive.
It was a different style between games 1 and game 2 specifically, where the Naja, xCynosurex was trying to set up his teammates, but the second game, xCynosurex was just always on to Despair or on top of Catalyyyst.
Yeah, just taking care of those hard carries in the back line, and we got to give credit to Transonics as well. I love that placement of the ultimate, because it just forced most of Kingdom Esports on the opposite side of it, allowing the team to rotate in.
And McSaltyCakes had to try to defend this, but he sacrificed his life for his teammate.
And just, I mean, we just saw him just swinging away. I think the Hunter matchup was great here. Even Despair played so well. But
I would say in the early laning phases and the mid game he did, but he was just a little too far overextended against the Thor that has the global, that has the tectonic rift. Also against Koiz's blink initiations.
Yeah. Overall, though, a good showing for Most Wanted, remaining undefeated. Kingdom, I think they've got a little bit of life here, but we're going to go to a short break. We've still got 2 more matches for you today. We're going to be seeing Soar take on Noble up next.